Imagine your favorite drug, the socially acceptable, available on every corner, and you probably start every single day with it. It gives you a quick burst of energy, clarity, and confidence. But what if I told you that this feeling is a lie? A sophisticated biological trick that's putting your body into debt? And that the very thing you use to fight fatigue is actually the reason you're so tired in the first place? Welcome to the caffeine lie. Strap in, because by the end of this video, you will never look at your morning cup the same way again. The chemical con. How caffeine really works. Let's get down to the molecular level. In your brain, there's a chemical called adenosine. Throughout the day, as you think, move, and live, adenosine builds up. It docks to specific receptors in your brain, and this docking process is what literally signals to your body that it's tired. It's a natural, healthy system telling you it's time to rest. Now enter caffeine. Caffeine is what scientists call an antagonist. It's a shapeshifter. Its molecular structure is so similar to adenosine that it can sneak in and block the real adenosine from docking. It's like putting a piece of gum in a keyhole. The key can't go in. So, with the tired signal blocked, what do you feel? Alert, energetic, awake. But here's the first part of the lie. The adenosine doesn't go away. It's still there, piling up, waiting in the background. You haven't erased your fatigue. You've just muted the alarm. And when the caffeine finally wears off, that built-up wave of adenosine crashes down on you all at once. This is the infamous afternoon crash. It wasn't your lack of willpower. It was simple biochemistry. The debt spiral, tolerance, and withdrawal. Now, your brain is not stupid. It notices that its tiredness receptors are constantly blocked. So it adapts. To compensate, your brain creates more adenosine receptors. This is the beginning of a vicious cycle. Think of it like this. Initially, 1 cup of coffee blocks 1 keyhole. But now your brain has built 10 new keyholes. So 1 cup isn't enough anymore. You need 2, then 3. You're not getting more energy. You're just struggling to block more and more receptors. This is caffeine tolerance. And what happens if you miss your dose? All those extra receptors are now wide open, and the normal daily amount of adenosine floods in, hitting far more targets than it ever would have naturally. The result? Debilitating headaches, brain fog, intense fatigue, the classic symptoms of caffeine withdrawal. You're now drinking coffee not for a boost, but just to feel normal, to avoid the punishing withdrawal. This isn't a luxury. It's a chemical dependency. The cortisol hijack and the sleep sabotage. This is where the lie gets truly dangerous. Caffeine doesn't just block adenosine. It also triggers the release of adrenaline and cortisol, your primary stress hormones. When you drink coffee, especially on an empty stomach first thing in the morning, you are simulating a mini fight or flight response. Your blood pressure rises, your heart rate increases, and your body releases stored sugar into the bloodstream for quick energy. This is the jolt you feel. But here's the shocking truth. Your body's natural cortisol levels are already at their peak in the morning, between 8 and 9 a.m. It's your built-in, natural alarm clock. By adding caffeine on top of this peak, you are essentially double-stressing your system. Over time, this can lead to adrenal dysregulation. Your body becomes less sensitive to its own cortisol, messing with your metabolism, immune function, and ability to handle stress. And the biggest victim? Your sleep. Caffeine has a half-life of about 5 to 6 hours. That means if you have a coffee at 3 p.m., half of the caffeine is still active in your brain at 8 to 9 p.m. The silently blocking adenosine, disrupting your deep sleep cycles. You might still fall asleep out of exhaustion, but you are being robbed of the restorative. Deep sleep, your brain needs to clear out metabolic waste and consolidate memories. So you wake up tired, foggy, and what's the first thing you reach for? Another coffee. The cycle continues. You are digging a deeper and deeper sleep debt hole, using caffeine as a shovel. The performance paradox and the right way. So, is the answer to quit entirely? For some, maybe, but for most, it's about strategy. Because the most shocking take of all is this: most people drink their coffee at the worst possible time. Drinking coffee the moment you wake up during your natural cortisol peak is a waste. You are adding a stimulant on top of a naturally high stimulant state. The benefits are diminished and you build tolerance faster. The science-backed solution? Wait. Research, including studies from the U.S. Army and neuroscientists, suggests waiting 90 to 120 minutes after you wake up before your first cup. Allow your natural cortisol peak to do its job and begin to decline. Then, and only then, introduce caffeine. This will provide a much cleaner, more sustained energy boost without the harsh crash, and it will prevent your tolerance from skyrocketing. Furthermore, stop the caffeine by 2 p.m. at the absolute latest to protect your sleep architecture. Your future well-rested self will thank you. Conclusion. Breaking the cycle. The caffeine lie is that it gives you free energy. It doesn't. It's a high-interest loan from your own body. You get a short-term burst of fake alertness, and in return you pay with anxiety, dependency, poor sleep, and chronic fatigue. You are not weak for needing coffee. You are biologically set up. But now you know the truth. You understand the adenosine trap, the cortisol hijack, and the sleep sabotage. The power is now in your hands. To optimize, to take back control, to use caffeine as a precise tool, not a crutch. If this video opened your eyes, if you felt a shock of recognition, then do me a favor. Smash the like button and subscribe, because we're just getting started. Next time, we're diving into the dark side of another healthy habit that's secretly ruining your focus. You won't want to miss it. Until then, think twice before you brew.